Iran has been in the news a lot, and people say a lot of things about it, especially coming from Iraq.
Yes.
There's a lot of, clashes and conflicts between politically, we've had for many years, there's been,
war with each
war
other.
and problems, and so it's you hear a lot of things about places that you haven't gone to that people say things that are not very good, and to me, I get more encouraged to go to places when people say bad things about it because I want to see for myself.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Bubbly Talking Show. As you know, Bubbly Talking Show is a kind of travel talking which we're gonna be talking with different travelers with different experience in all around the world. And now, after a long time, we have a very special guest from Iraq, and I wanna talk about his the way that he traveled, especially with Iraqi passport. And before anything, could you explain a little more about yourself and introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me. So my name is Mortada, but in Farsi people say Mortaza. So it's a common name here in Iran. I'm from Iraq, and I have been traveling pretty much non-stop for the last 7 years. I've now traveled to more than 100 countries with the Iraqi passport.
Yes.
Which is, officially it's the worst passport in the world, according to the ranking of passports,
For the first, I want to know that how you start to travel like this, because as you told me before, I think you have a very long process for getting visa because you have some passport like that, and also we as an Iranian have the same problem.
Yeah.
And how you start to do something like that?
Yeah, well, it just kind of happened gradually. I just went on a trip. I liked it, and went on another trip. I liked it, and then I just kept going on trips after trips and became kind of addicted to traveling. But getting the visa is the hardest part of traveling, especially for people who have passports like Iran or Iraq, where it's really difficult. A lot of countries, they make it really hard for you to come visit, and so there's no secret answer to how you get a visa. The thing that works for me all the time is persistence and just always trying, and sometimes I get rejected, and I get sometimes countries tell me that I will never be able to enter, but I keep trying, and I try from a different embassy, I try for a different reason. Like if I try as a tourist, they don't let me. I try as maybe for business or for a conference, or maybe get an invitation from a local. So I always try different things to try to make it work, and with time I've been able to get just about it. And today I was here in Iran exploring. I went to Filban, and
yes.
I met this older man. He was a security protecting the village. And I was just driving around and trying to watch the sunrise at like 6 in the morning, and he just stopped me, and I was a little nervous at first because I was like, what's going on?
Happened?
Yeah, and then he came. He said, he was speaking to me in Farsi, and I said, I speak English only. I don't know Farsi, and he said, come tea. So he invited me to his house for tea. He said Farsi chai, and he gave me this organic tea from the mountains. And he gave me food, and we sat in his room. And, he had a little, very humble, simple room, and he fed me, and then he was telling me a little bit about what he does there. He was a security for this village, and then he took me to the top because my car, it was very snowy. My car wouldn't go to the top, so he took me in his car. We went to the top, and we took some pictures. We played around. We watched the sunrise. It was just so perfect. It was beautiful. And we talked very little because we don't understand each other.
Yes, something that is very amazing is that how you connect with each other, because you don't have any same language to understand each other, but you went with each other for a long way to the top of the mountain.
We went probably together for maybe 2 hours. We were together, but we don't speak the same language. and he was so friendly. He was so nice. and I think he said he's from Babol.
Bubble.
Yes.
Bubble.
And he was very kind, and he to me this is like, this man, I will never forget him, and I feel so much love from him, and I feel love for him, and that to me is just the precious part about traveling. You know, you go to places, you connect with people, and this is what's amazing, is like you don't even need to speak the language to connect with people. It's the language of love, the language of humanity that we all speak, and that's what we did. We just smiled, we shook hands, we hugged, you know, and everybody speaks this language.
And I think it's sometimes it's the scariest part for some people to start traveling, because when you think to going to a country, because the words show us very wrong pictures to each other, and we see the world, or we see some countries in a wrong pictures. As you know about Iran, we have lots of wrong pictures in the world. Do you have any kind of these things in your mind about Iran? I mean, when you want to travel to somewhere, maybe you have some things in your mind about your destination, about something that you maybe see there. Do you have, and when you go there, you maybe see something else, and you will shocked or say, wow, what I think before and what I see now. Do you have the same for traveling to Iran?
Well, so, you know, let's be honest. Iran has been in the news a lot, and people say a lot of things about it, especially coming from Iraq.
Yes.
There's a lot of, you know, clashes and conflicts between, politically, you know, we've had for many years, there's been, you know,
war with each other,
and problems, you know, and so it's you hear a lot of things about places that you haven't gone to, that people say things that are not very good, and to me, I get more encouraged to go to places when people say bad things about it, because I want to see for myself. I want to explore it. I want to understand, why are people speaking about a country or people in a certain way, and is it really true? And so, you know, I think people a lot of times, they confuse governments with people, and they think when a government has a war, or, you know, when there's fighting or politics, they think the people also are represented by this problem. But in reality, no matter where I go, every place I go to, no matter how much the politics are messy, no matter how many bad things I've heard about it, it's always, the people are beautiful. And everywhere you go, the people are always beautiful. And so here in Iran, you can hear in the news all kinds of things that people say about, oh, Iran this, Iran that. And they're talking maybe about politics and the government and this and that. But when you look at the people are beautiful. And that's what I saw in the man that took me in today, and he hosted me, and, you know, I felt like he was my grandfather. It felt like we were family, you know? And we just met for the first time. So this has been the case. I mean, I haven't met you before, and you have been helping me and supporting me during my stay here, and so, you know, this is the way it is in most places.
Yes, and I think all of us live with this connectivity, and when we can connect to each other, we can also live. It's something, but I know that because I talk with lots of people in all around the world, and as I know, I'm an ambassador for Iran, and yes, and I want to show the reality about this country to all. I know that I'm so small in the world, and maybe I can show to all around the world. How was your trip in Iran? Because you have very short time in Iran. How was your short time in Iran, and which cities did you go, and do you suggest this kind of cities to others also?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I was saying, Filbon was so beautiful, and it was suggested to me by a friend who, he just mentioned it, and he said, you know, check it out, and you know, he said, like, if you're lucky, you may get this view where you're above the clouds, and you're basically like overlooking this sea of clouds.
Did you see the clouds?
Yes,
also?
I did. That's why I went to see the sunrise, because at the sunrise time, the whole sky, all the clouds were pink or orange, you know, the color of the sunrise. So it was just so beautiful. And I was with this man that I told you about that I met. We were looking at the sunrise, and it's just, so Filbon is definitely great. So I did a loop from Tehran. I went to east and north, and went to Filbon, then went all the way to Mohammadabad,
Yes.
and then went to Chaluz,
And come back from Charles.
and then come back from Chaluz. So I did this circle. I think people, if they want to do this, it's absolutely beautiful. They should probably do it with more time because I only had like 24 hours or like 36 hours to do this. So if you come to Iran, spend more time in these places because they're so beautiful. There's lots of nature. I saw waterfalls. I saw some historical sites, a castle. So there's a lot to see, and it's worth it for
You
sure.
want to come back again?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I was even thinking of staying here longer, but it didn't work out. But I definitely need to come back. There's a lot for me to learn from being here. I was also learning about Iraq by being in Iran because I was meeting Iraqi people here, learning about their journey, and I think our people are so connected. We have a history that's so common between the Iraqi people and the Iranian people, and I was understanding things about the history and the journey of some Iraqis by being in Iran. And I was meeting people who live along the borders and from Khuzestan, and
yes.
they are like a perfect combination of both Iraq and Iran, and it's very fascinating to me to meet
Something that I always ask from those who travel to Iran, also rent a car, is about driving. What's your idea about Iranian driving?
Yeah. So Iranian driving. Iranian driving is like Iraqi driving.
Really?
Yeah.
So they are the same.
Yeah.
Because from when I ask something like that from European people, they say me something different. They are crazy.
Definitely, European driving and American driving is very different from Iranian driving. But because I grew up in Iraq, I'm used to it, so it's not so surprising.
And for my last question, what about your? Because I know that you never use any kind of stuff that our company maybe have for anybody. What's your idea about us in case of supporting or something like that?
So I got a little bit of help from you when I was looking for rental cars, and I was trying to navigate where to go and what to do, and so you were helping me in that sense. And I think if I had more time here, I would like to experience the nomadic life and the nomadic people in Iran, because to me that's very fascinating, and I would want to learn from you about what are the experiences or what are the opportunities to try this. So I wish I had more time, and this is something to come back to because I'm looking at the photos that you have here, and this looks, it's a unique experience, and I didn't get to experience any of this. So I can't say that now I've completed visiting Iran until I experience more of these amazing things.
The way that they live. For the end of our topic, do you have any suggestion for those who maybe scared about traveling to Iran or something like that?
Well, I always say, if you're scared of something or if you're scared of a place, go do it or go visit it, So if you're scared of traveling to Iran, then come to Iran, because that's how you will understand your fears. You'll understand, do I even need to be scared of coming to Iran? And it's the same thing, like people are scared of coming to Iraq.
Exactly.
And the answer is a lot of the times our fears are not necessary. We're scared of the things we heard in the news. We're scared of things that we hear in the politics. But in real life, the people are amazing. And you come to any country. You come to Iran. You come to I'm sure I only experienced a small part of Iran, but I'm sure it's true for all parts of Iran that there are people with good hearts, people with generosity and kindness. So that's my advice. Come and see it for yourself.
Thank you so much for accepting my invitation and also be here. Hope all of you enjoyed this topic, and see you in the next episode. Have a good time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.